Well, the Senate, after hours of pressuring and arm twisting holdout Republicans, advanced Trump's so called Big Beautiful Bill for open debate to come up for a vote for passage. And it was really a pressure campaign on those that were poised to vote against it. For example, Senator Lisa Murkowski from Alaska. She was just recently interviewed and said, I can't take this back to the people of Alaska, these Medicaid cuts. Well, she knew they would hurt the people that sent her to Washington to fight on their behalf. But in the end, she caved and voted for the bill. If you recall earlier during the session where she was answering questions, she said the fear was real. The fear she was talking about was going against Donald Trump. She said the retribution was real, and sometimes she was afraid to use her voice. Well, those sound like personal problems. Okay, behind me is the cover of my book, Secrets of a Baby Mama. You can check that out on Amazon. It's very pertinent to this discussion because mothers of babies all over the United States will be hurt if this bill becomes law. Now, let's talk about Senator Joni Ernst from Iowa. She was holding a town hall, and someone in the audience concerned about the cuts to Medicaid and SNAP, otherwise known as food stamps. And the person yelled out, but people are going to die. Joni Ernst replied, well, we're all going to die. And then Mitch McConnell, the senior senator, former majority leader of the Senate, it was revealed that he said in a meeting about the Medicaid cuts, which now apparently are close to $1 trillion, that, people would be angry about it. And then he said, but they will get over it. Oh, really? They'll get over it from the grave? They'll get over it from, I don't have a nursing home to go to anymore or stay in. I don't have a local hospital within, I don't know, 70, 80, 100 miles because it closed due to lack of Medicaid funding that they depended on. So what's this bill all about? Giving tax breaks to the very wealthiest in the United States. And do they need those tax breaks? Do they need extra money? Just take a look at this image of the wealth distribution in the United States. Now, though those search results said that the top 10% control about 67% of the wealth in the United States, and everyone else below that controls the rest. And the lower you go on the pyramid, the less wealth is controlled. Just let me show you how that looks. That looks like a classic pyramid scheme. The wealth from the bottom is being funneled up to the top. And what we've been sold for years is something called trickle down, that once it gets to the top, it's going to create so much economic activity and wealth, it will come back down and rain prosperity on the rest of us. Except that never happens. Decade after decade, the same stories being sold, particularly from Republicans like Ronald Reagan. Once it goes up, it doesn't come back down. So what do we need to do? We need to flip that wealth pyramid on its head. Instead of the middle class and lower class funneling their wealth up to these top 10%, like Trump tax plan does, while it takes away Medicaid, restricts SNAP benefits, i.e., food stamps, which gets back to the baby mothers, because now in this new plan, if it passes, once your child is past 7 years old, they don't count as a dependent anymore as far as SNAP benefits. Oh, really? So you restrict abortion rights, you do all these things to encourage people to have more children. Donald Trump even brought up paying people, women, to have kids. So what are you going to do after they have them? Oh, once they become 8 years old, we reduced your food stamp assistance if you're on food stamps. And a lot of people on food stamps that voted for Donald Trump. Don't let the popular, you know, projection fool you. And the same thing with Medicaid. And that gets back to the mother of the babies also. A lot of children health care is dependent upon Medicaid. So I'm going to bridge another subject. The Democratic primary winner in New York City is a Muslim, Mamdani. He's being attacked, particularly by conservative Republicans. Racist attacks, trying to tie him to 9/11, trying to say, we need to denaturalize him and deport him. But you know why he won? Because his campaign was about flipping that pyramid upside down. That's why he won. People can't afford to live in many areas of the country. And you know why? It's not that costs are too high, and they are high. It's that pay is too low. Compensation is too low. So if you don't raise that, then what do? He said, I'm flipping the pyramid upside down. I'm going to take that 10% and funnel that wealth downward to the folks that are getting crushed at the bottom. And it scared Democrats and Republicans alike. They don't know how to respond. But with what the Republicans did, with the caving and the folding, only 2 senators, Republican, voted against this bill. One from Kentucky and one from North Carolina, because they knew it was going to hurt their constituents. And these Republicans shouldn't be afraid of Donald Trump putting a primary opponent against them, because once the voters realize what has happened to them and what they have done to them instead of for them, they're going to vote them out anyway. So they should have voted in the best interest of their voters and constituents, and not in the best interest of themselves, trying to maintain their cushy government employment. That's all I got to say about this. But these people have no heart, no soul. They're beyond redemption to do this to their constituents instead of doing something for their constituents.